Represent. This episode will focus on the importance of representation in your community and understanding the concept, and really explore the importance of discovering and engaging into your own opinions. Please stay tuned. This is Young Voices Matter, YVM.
Vibrate higher, you are not alone. They teach you to build houses, but you're not at home. If you don't go down fighting, then you know you're wrong. Sing truth into the sky, the rain will guide you through the storm, storm, storm. Guide. So, why does anybody feel free if magical beings are locked up, can't sleep? Ain't no protecting them, make them bleed in the street. Never a second of empathy, he can't breathe. Just because it wasn't you, you shouldn't cry about it. And since it couldn't have been your son, you don't love no one but your ones. Protecting the killer like he ain't holding a gun. Look, you taking the lives that we're meant to live on. Brothers and mothers not hearing this song, cause you let your ignorance based on your pigment be reason for taking the breath from a son. Damn, man, shame on you. Won't be long before your reign is through. Yeah, shame on you. Won't be long before your reign is through. We must vibrate higher, you are not alone. They teach you to build houses, but you're not at home. If you don't go down fighting, then you know you're wrong. Sing truth into the sky, the rain will guide you through the storm. It'll guide. Said nobody should take one step if it's bringing pain to all the rest. I'm having visions in my head of a world where you don't have to fear for your life. I know that they don't understand the power that lies in their hands. But if God had a different plan, the death of just one would make your fire ignite. Yeah, I said you're not alone. They teach you to build houses, but you're not at home. If you don't go down fighting, then you know you're wrong. Sing truth into the sky, the rain will guide you through the storm, 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 storm. Through the storm. We must vibrate higher, you are not alone. They teach you to build houses, but you're not at home. If you don't go down fighting, then you know you're wrong. Sing truth into the sky, the rain will guide you through the storm. It'll guide, I promise it'll guide. No, it'll guide. Guide you through the storm, yeah. Nobody should take one step if it's bringing pain to all the rest. Having visions in my head of a world where you don't have to fear for your life. Know that they don't understand power that lies in their hands. But if God had a different plan, the death of just one would make, yeah. We must vibrate higher, you are not alone. They teach you to build houses, but you're not at home. If you don't go down fighting, then you know you're wrong. Sing truth into the sky, the rain will guide you through the storm. it'll guide. Promise it'll guide. Ooh, yeah. Come on, we must vibrate higher, yeah. Higher, 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 yeah. Higher, higher, higher. Ooh, yeah. We must vibrate higher. You are not alone. They teach you to build houses, but you're not at home. If you don't go down fighting, then you know you're wrong. Sing truth into the sky, the rain will guide you through the storm. Guide you, guide you. That's crazy. It'll guide. I promise it'll guide. Know that it'll guide. It'll guide you, yeah. No, it guides you, yeah. Hey, it'll guide. I promise it'll guide. You know that it'll guide. Yeah, I promise we are not alone. We must vibrate higher. You are not alone. They teach you to build houses, but you're not at home. If you don't go down fighting, then you know you're wrong. Sing truth into the sky, the rain will guide you through the storm. It'll guide. I promise it'll guide you, guide you. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Because you're not alone. Hey. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Everybody at home, please give it up one more time for Savannah. That was a lovely performance. Thank you so much.
Gratitude.
So, we're going to get right into it. Thank you for being able to come here, share your gift with the world. Got a few questions for you, know, and how you speak to the people. The first question, what inspires you to create the art that you make?
So for me, music is more than a hobby. It's not something that I feel like I found. Music actually saved my entire life, and I feel like it's become like breathing, like first language. So to me, music is the most powerful way to communicate to anybody, and for everybody to come together. It's the most powerful way to unify. So to me, yeah, music saved my life, and music is just vibrations. It's deeper than beats and songs and titles, but it represents, you know, survival and storytelling. So.
Beautiful, beautiful. Exactly, yeah. Vibrations. We must vibrate
100%
higher. You are not alone. That's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Then for this next question, what does freedom mean to you?
To me, it feels like a lot of people feel like, I mean, we can be free from a lot of things. We can be free from the ways that we've been conditioned. We can be free from bondage. We can be free from, other people having power. But I feel like freedom is when all find that same feeling of safety, which is not the case and won't be the case for a very long time. So to me, freedom is going to be something we can really feel all together. I don't think any of us should feel free as we do right now and feel like we can go about our day and be safe until every last one of us feels that same way. So that's what freedom is to me.
100, until we are all free. Yeah. Thank you very much. And then for the people at home, let them know to check you out, what you got going on, how to find you, all that good stuff.
Appreciate you. My name's Savano, Svanoe, and I'm actually dropping my debut project in a month or a month and a half. So it's gonna be called Still I Rise, and it'll be out on all platforms. So you can find me on Facebook at Hannah Savano, like Hannah Montana Savano, and then and Instagram is H_SVANOE. Otherwise, Southside Minneapolis.
Welcome to Young Voices Matter. We are back and in full effect with our second theme. This theme is about representation, and we have nothing other than the most phenomenal man himself, Elijah Norris, here today, man. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing all right, Brother Louie. I'm doing all right.
Man, thank you so much for joining us here today on YVM. And this specific episode here is going to focus on representation, really understanding the concept of taxation without representation, and explore how to discover and develop your own opinion, your own ideas. And you are somebody who I've had the honor and privilege to work with over these past few months, and just seeing the way you operate and the way you maneuver has been extremely impactful and inspirational for me coming up as well as a young professional. So without further ado, you just let the people know, who you are, what you do, and where you from.
Yeah, my name is Elijah Norris Holiday, born in Chicago, Illinois, so I'm a transplant, but I've lived in St. Paul for about 13 years now, 24 years old. And what do? I consider myself to be a conduit. I think God has blessed me with a lot of opportunities, and it's my obligation to connect my people with those opportunities that I've been presented with, and to use my knowledge and my education and my experience to give back to my community. So I'm the CEO and founder of Project Restore Minnesota. We're a community-based organization, and our entire mission and vision is to empower and uplift the ADOS community. ADOS stands for American Descendants of Slavery.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Make sure y'all go check that out and support this brother and all of that great efforts that's being put on right now for the community. So first question, what can people do to make sure that themselves and their communities are equitably represented?
I say really the first thing for me is to secure some financial backing or pursue money. And I hate to put it like that, but I have to. And I know that might be, counter to what a lot of people might tell you, but I think first you need the money, because in America, people respect you more when you have some of it. And oftentimes they kick you when you don't have any. So I'm just going to be honest with you. My father's a business owner. I learned a lot of things that I know from him. And that's one of the principles he told me growing up. He said, you're black. You're already going to have a lot of people who aren't going to expect much of you. You're already going to have the system against you. You know that. I mean, he told me that when I must have been 7 years old when we had that conversation. Some people call it the talk. And then we had it again like when I was entering into high school. And then we had it again when I was going to a predominantly white institution, which was known as State University, for my undergrad. And I've always had that in the back of my mind that, get some money so you can help your community, and then teach other people to get some money. And then once you get the money, go after these offices, man. Run for office. Run for public office. If it's school board, if it's state representative, if it's a state senator seat, if it's city council, whatever the office is, put your bid in there. People need to see people that look like them in these types of positions. So I think that's the biggest way that you can get back to your community, especially if that's something that you're passionate about, is running for office. Now, if you're not interested in running for office, then open up businesses and employ your people. Give your people jobs, because that's what other communities do, right? They open up law firms. They open up therapy clinics, restaurants, car shops, clothing stores. I can go on and on and on about the businesses that people open up when they come to this country, or white folks in this country have, and they employ their people. So I would say for black people, for ADOS people, own something, and then make sure that you bring your people in so they can be a part of it.
Man, that was a beautiful answer. It was so much liberation in that feedback right there. Like, honestly, get the bag. You feel me? You heard my man.
But do something with the bag once you get it.
Exactly. Like, having money without the proper management is chaos. And this man is not just up here speaking. He literally lives by this. His actions portray that as well. And I just want to share. Can you share with the folks about, a program you got going on?
Yeah. So right now we currently have a program going on in Ramsey County. Shout out Ramsey County. But we're using those funds to really empower our young people. So for the first 8 weeks, we're talking about personal development. So really building our people up, giving them positive emotional coping strategies, because what I've realized in our community is that a lot of times when we're dealing with grief, when we're dealing with trauma, we turn to alcohol and weed. I mean, I know I certainly did when I lost my mother. I mean, and I feel comfortable talking about this. I went to a span where I was drinking, and I had to pull myself out of that position and say, this is not going to get you anywhere. You're grieving about your mother passing away, but the way that your life is headed now, you're not going to leave any positive, any good life behind for her to say she was proud of, right? And I really just pulled myself up, and I enrolled back in grad school, and I'm about to graduate with my master's degree next spring, actually. So I think that was a good thing. So we're teaching them emotional coping strategies. So instead of drinking, instead of turning into marijuana or whatever other drugs they're doing these days, because the young kids is doing a lot. We know the realities, but it's really teaching them alternatives to express themselves, and then teaching them how to reach out to people, and that's okay to seek mental health. So, and then also teaching them about their history, where they come from, and where they can go. So that's the first 8 weeks. The last 8 weeks is professional development. We're teaching them how to, build a LinkedIn profile, how to clean up their social medias, because your employers are looking at your social medias. I mean, as soon as your application coming in, they probably looking up your Twitter, they probably looking up your Instagram and your Facebook to see what you're posting about. And I don't think they should take those things into consideration when they're hiring you, but they do. So we're teaching them about that, what to post, what not to post, how to turn your settings on privacy so certain people can't see what you're posting if you're still going to be, post how you want to post, but how to turn it private so people can't see it. And then also on the last couple of weeks of the professional side, we're going to teach them about financial literacy, how to invest in foreign exchange markets. I have a Forex portfolio right now, and also how to utilize stocks, bonds, and also life insurance as a way to generate generational wealth. So.
Beautiful, yeah. Brother. So much empowerment, and really doing the work. Thank you for those opportunities and just continually paying it forward. I really like what you said too, because it relates to our theme of representation. And you actually spoke on this next question. You kind of answered it already. Just talking about some moments in your life that help define what you represent. Are there any other key moments or experiences that you've occurred in your lifetime that really help define what you represent and who you are?
Yeah, and I'll try to keep this short, but it really is a long story. But I recently actually just got off of felony probation, and a lot of people don't know that. I think I've told you because we just had a separate, conversation, a personal conversation. I think I brought it up, but it's something I really don't talk about a lot. For a long time, I was ashamed of it, and I've never done any physical harm to anyone, never got caught with a firearm. My felonies came from drug-related offenses, marijuana. So I was in Winona State University, and they tried to say I was selling marijuana. Allegedly, I was selling weed, and they placed me on 5 years of probation for that crime, and I actually just got out let off this year. In fact, I ran for office last year, and I had a stay of adjudication on my case. And when my mother passed away, I went down to Arizona to take care of her knowingly. I wasn't supposed to leave the state. But, I don't know if you've ever been on probation before, know people that have. They're really strict on, letting people who are on probation in that state leave to go somewhere else. It's a process.
Super strict.
And at that point, I didn't have a choice. It was either stay in Minnesota and watch my mother die, or risk my freedom and go take care of my family. And I'll tell you this, and I'll tell anyone else this in the future. I don't feel bad about making my decision, and I would do that. I would make that decision every time that I'm presented with that. Seriously, my family comes first, and I'll do whatever I have to do to make sure I'm there to support them. Once my mother passed away, I moved back up to Minnesota. I had to face the consequences of me leaving the state, and they removed my stay of adjudication, gave me a stay of imposition, which means that I actually was convicted of the felony at that point, and I was no longer eligible to actually run for office. So I ended up suspending my campaign, and again, I went in kind of a downward spiral into depression again for probably about a month, and I really had to pull myself up again, man. My faith in God is really what brought me out of that abyss. Man, I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual. But literally, it's my faith in God and a higher being and someone that's more powerful than me that really pulled me up from that situation, man. But that's one event. I have many of them, but that's the most significant one, I think, recently.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very powerful narrative. Very powerful transformation. Just to let you know, I would have made the same decision. You feel me? So
most people would.
Yeah,
in fact, the judge told me that, but she still had to remove my stay of adjudication. So.
Right. It just be ridiculous how some of these policies and some of these laws work. It's like, You know, there has to be a balance between law and morality. Seriously, we should just be more understanding with each other. I truly feel that way. So thank you, man, for always doing what you believe in. And as we all can see right now, you know, you are most definitely changing the narrative, you know, and being an influence and inspiration to other young brothers coming up on a day-to-day basis. So gratitude.
Appreciate you, Brother Louis.
Yes, sir. So for this next question, I think this one is very important for a lot of folks out there because we understand that we all have some gift, some ability inside of us to go out and empower others. Over here in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, you know, we're right next door to the 3rd precinct, for crying out loud. You know, seeing the uprising, seeing all the protests. What do you feel people could do if they're not on the front lines? What are some other ways people can be engaged, you know, without being in physical danger, you know, because it's very much a war outside, you know, like it is dangerous to be at these protests and be outside, you know, and also we're in the middle of a pandemic right now with the coronavirus. But those individuals who are at home and want to do something, you know, but might not be the protest type, you know, what are some other ways that people can be engaged in our social justice movement?
I would say educating themselves about the issues that folks are out there in the community fighting for, especially ones who are on the front lines. Educating yourself about what those issues are, and then figuring out the point of contact or where you need to apply pressure at. Writing letters, making phone calls to your legislators do work. I have had the opportunity to work in the legislature in various different capacities, and I will tell you, people do answer your phone calls, depending on, you know, what you're calling about, and making sure that it's the appropriate office that you're calling. They do answer the phone calls. They do listen to the voicemails, and some of those voicemails are ridiculous.
Man, have you heard some?
Oh man, death threats to some of the people that I work for, cursing them out about issues that they don't even have jurisdiction over. I mean, I've heard some pretty nasty comments being made about a few of our legislators, and it's just like, dude, this is just flat out racist and bogus. I mean, seriously. But we do listen to them, and you know, we do read the letters, and they do influence people's decision. Now, with that being said, you just can't do that and that's it, right? So it's educating yourself, reaching out to your legislators and your elected officials, but also knowing those particular issues that you want to see change. So for me, it's ending qualified immunity, right? Do you know what qualified immunity is? Not to put you on the spot.
I was just about to ask you, like, can you define that?
Yeah. So I won't be able to give you the textbook legal definition of qualified immunity, but essentially, qualified immunity is what grants police officers or really any public service official or public official the abilities to act in accordance with the law, and if they make a mistake or whatever, they're not able to be tried in civil court, right? Or they're not able to be held accountable as long as they're serving in that public official capacity. So for an example, as a police officer, if I assault you, as long as I can prove that it was reasonable, right, for me to assault you or to cause harm on you, even if it results in death, then I can't be held civically reliable for that. You can't put a lawsuit against me as a person, right? The police department is responsible for that. So when you get these large settlements or these lawsuits, usually it's against the police department or the union or whatever. It's not against the actual officer themselves. So, you know, if I assaulted you right now, you can call the police on me, you can file a lawsuit against me, and then I would have to pay you. I would be liable for that, right? I would be held accountable for that. If you're a police officer serving your official police officer capacity, you cannot be held liable for any actions as long as it's reasonable and within law. So, and that's qualified immunity in a short. So if we end that, then we have police accountability, or at least somewhat of police accountability.
Exactly. You know, and these are the things that we need to start addressing. You know, these are the things that we need to start informing others about. Mm-hmm. You know, like you just dropped that gem with me. You know, now it's my turn to go take that seed and go share it with somebody else. Qualified immunity. Put it on a T-shirt, for crying out loud, right?
Or a hat. And that's what you would also could do if you got a clothing company. Come on now. Put that stuff on a hat. Put that stuff on a T-shirt. Make some money, but also educate your community about it as well. You know, so, I mean, those are a few different things that you can do.
I like how you just brought that back around full circle, you know, and make some money, you know, but be educated as well, you know, make the right decisions. Man.
And donate them dollars to the campaigns as well, man. That goes a long way. Honestly, bro, I've been working in this political realm for a few years now, and, you know, the candidate that raises the most money is typically the candidate that wins. And they need the community to be behind them. Not only out there door knocking, highlighting the candidates' platforms, but also supporting them financially, right? Because all that stuff comes with the cost. So a lot of the times we have the community that may support a candidate verbally, but don't put a dollar towards that campaign. And that's why it's essential for us to get money first, so we can put money behind these candidates and make sure that they get in office. And then we can start creating some of these legislative changes, these policy changes that are actually going to have a great impact on our community.
That's 100. That's 100. That most definitely sounds like strategy, and it sounds like we breaking barriers. So I have so much faith and hope, in you as an individual. Being a part of our community. Very, very inspired to be working together and creating a new future for the next generations to come. It's an honor. And now for all of our audience, can you just share some words of wisdom to leave the people with?
Yeah, I would say don't let your past define who you are. I think that's a lesson that my mentors have told me that's really helped me move forward, because I do get down on myself a lot, especially when I start thinking about my record. Although I've never done any physical violence to anybody, I've been turned down from jobs because of my background. And I actually was fired from my job. I had a really good paying job prior to me losing my stay of adjudication and receiving a stay of imposition. I had a really good paying job when I graduated college, and I lost my job because they said they couldn't have anyone that has a felony working for their company. And it had nothing to do with my performance, and it had everything to do with my record. And I think that contributed to me feeling down about myself for a while. And really, I had some mentors tell me, like, look, Elijah, people make mistakes in life. You're 24 years old. The chances of you making some more mistakes are high, but don't ever let those mistakes define who you are and what your purpose in this life is going to be. And really, if you have a plan, if you're committed to something, put your all into it. There's a Bible verse I want to leave us with. Like I said, I ain't the most religious person, but I do read the Bible and the Quran. I think there's a lot of information and knowledge to gain from both of those books. And I believe that it's Luke chapter 6, verse 36, and it said, be compassionate as your Lord was compassionate, or as your Father was compassionate, is the actual scripture. So be compassionate in whatever you do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And that right there was episode 2. Our represent theme here with Elijah Norris, the phenomenon, and it's your host with the Moses, Louis Blaze. Thank you so much. That was
Appreciate
great.
you, brother Louis.
Great. Make sure y'all are tuning in. Make sure you're sharing this with everybody. Young Voices Matter. We will be back soon. Peace. Cool.